Let's start the webinar. Recovery is now. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Rudy. I'm the CEO and founder of RM Hub. We have organized it together with SiteMinder, with OTA Insights and Mirai this webinar to help the hoteliers to understand how to recover faster than their competitors. So today we have here André Góes from SiteMinder, Joanna from OTA Insights, and Rui Maria from Mirai. Just to introduce myself first as well, let me share the screen with you. Okay, here we go. So my name is Rudy. I'm the CEO and founder of RM Hub. Just before the questions and all the information you want to know about the trends and the performance for the summer, let me introduce my company in a very quick way. So RM Hub, it's a company that I founded 4 years ago. We have 3 brands under the brand RM Hub. We have the Academy for trainings, the All-in-One for consultancy, and the Accelerate for sales. RM Academy was the first revenue management academy in Portugal. We have more than 30 trainings for those who are seeking to know more about revenue, and for those who are trying to develop their skills in revenue management. We pride ourselves to have done more than 100 trainings in the last 4 years, more than 1,000 trainees in a global scale. We gave some trainings for Brazil, for the US, UK, Portugal, Spain, etc. And some of the benefits of doing the trainings with RM Academy, and all the information is in our website. It's that besides this huge portfolio, all the trainers, they are very well-known revenue managers in the market, and we give like a strong practical component to our trainings. We try to teach how to do revenue management and not what is revenue management. So some of our partners, which are also in our website, they are all here today, and we try to give this very practical component to the trainings. About the RM All-in-One, it's our consultancy company. We try to work side by side with the hoteliers, and we basically help them to achieve their goals, basically to do all the revenue management strategy with the segmentation, budget and forecast, yield management, distribution, and a strategic plan 360 for revenue management. In a very quick way, revenue management hub, it's an all-in-one product and service. We have the revenue management system, a dedicated revenue manager, and the rate shopper. It's much more easier to do revenue when we have the skills and when we have the tools as well. Regarding the Accelerate, which is the newest brand we have created this year, it's more about the outsourcing for sales. We help the hoteliers to build their annual sales and marketing plan in a personalized way. So we do all the intermediation with B2B and B2C, and we have an extensive professional team. Myself, I have like 17 years in the field doing sales and revenue. We also do the sales rep, the sales calls, the trade shows, and all the SOPs that a sales department should have. So basically, some of the clients that work with us in the past, some of them still work with us as well for trainings, for consultancy, and for the Accelerate, which is sales. Having said this, let me introduce you Joanna. She's from OTA Insight. She's the business development manager for OTA Insight. And Joanna, the stage is yours.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much, Rudy. Yes, as Rudy already mentioned, I am indeed a business development manager at OTA Insight. I am responsible for the Portuguese market as well as for several other European markets. I pretty much joined OTA Insight in January 2020, and before working for OTA Insight, I was actually involved with industry's biggest wholesaler. Just very, very briefly, those who not know OTA Insight, we are a cloud data intelligence platform for hospitality management solutions that can help them make their prices more optimal and basically better distribution decisions. So we're currently having 4 different solutions in our portfolio. I'm just going to start very briefly with the Rate Shopper. So a Rate Insight is our flag Rate Shopper. We also have Revenue Insight, which is a business intelligence tool that helps hotels to unlock their revenue potential by basically analyzing in detail the PMS data. We have a Parity Insight, which is a solution for a multi properties basically, and which is helping hoteliers solve any kind of parity issues, plus drive more direct bookings. And last but not least, our newest solution, the forward-looking demand product market insight, on which I am going to basically base my today's presentation.
Thank you, Joanna. Joanna, so OTA Insight is all about data intelligence. So what are you seeing happening in the Portuguese market in terms of demand for this summer?
Great question, Rudy. We definitely see something positive. So we see some first signs of the recovery in the demand. And basically on the picture that you already showed is basically that since April, we have been observing a steady increase in searches into 4 destinations that we're supporting with market insights. So we support Albufeira, Lisboa and Porto, and the week flight searches into destinations, so the changes of those searches week on week, and they're made in specific.
Sorry, Joanna, let me interrupt you. Can you turn off your?
We start at 11th of April and we end at I haven't heard.
Yeah, Joanna, can you turn off your camera, please, because the sound is not going so well of the internet.
Am I? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, let me just try. Excuse me, everyone. It's just my internet today.
Part of the webinar world.
So terrible.
Very common.
Is that better now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm not sure where did I stop, so I'm just gonna start again. So yes, to answer your question, very positive. We see some steady increase in searches, so steady increase in interest in Portugal, so in the demand as well. And the graph, which you can see here, is basically presenting the week-on-week changes to flight searches to 4 destinations that we support with market insights. So Albufeira, Funchal, Lisboa, and Porto. What we can see here is searches being made in specific weeks. So for example, 11th of April till the 23rd of April, and those searches are made for the future. So especially for the destination of Albufeira, we can really see that there has been an over 200% increase in searching during the last couple of weeks, which, as you can see, last week slightly dropped. But this is absolutely normal situation. This is nothing to be afraid of, so to say, that there was interest and there is no interest anymore. This is basically normalizing after the massive increase of interest connected with opening of the corridor between Portugal and the UK. And it's also normal because people kind of rush to book their flights first to secure a good deal, and only after that they basically want to focus on the hotels. So although we indeed see a decrease in flight searches currently a bit, we still see a steady increase in hotel searches, which I will be showing in the next slides, and therefore we can make an assumption or express a hope that a lot of flights are already booked, or they will be they are coming for the upcoming weeks. So in the slide that we're seeing here, on the right side, there is a graph, and this is a visual representation of the percentage table shown in the previous slide. So where we can see a steep increase in flight searches week on week, starting from first half of April and slowing down a bit, as you can see, from the 23rd of May. So let's focus on why there is this increase. So first of all, after Easter, we had changes to domestic restrictions. They were released a bit. Of course, UK gave a green light on traveling to Portugal starting as of 17th of May. I think nobody needs to be reminded about the Champions League, which happened on the 29th and which was, of course, like changed from Istanbul to Porto, which also boosts a lot of like this interest. Apart from that, like some of the things are direct connections to from Europe to Portugal. I think like majority of European countries, I don't want to overdo it that every, but I think vast majority of European countries, they have direct connection to Portugal. Moreover, Rudy, if you could please show the next slide.
Yeah, of course, just a second. Okay.
Thanks very much. So moreover, what is happening now, we basically have more vaccinations. So as the vaccinations are increasing, the COVID cases are of course decreasing, and this is causing people, they're basically more willing to travel and they fear less the traveling. So, okay, so basically they fear less the travel. Rudy, if you could go back a bit to the former slide, please. Thank you.
This one?
Yeah, thank you. Because this slide is indicating that although in the previous slide we showed that yes, we have this decrease in flight searches a bit, we still have a steady increase in hotel searches week on week for all 4 destinations. And this is something crucial for the hoteliers, because the fear of traveling is smaller, and Portugal is one of those reopened markets, safe destinations, so people do not fear to go there. And I think this is the opportunity for Portugal to basically attract those travelers to the market. Okay, so once we focused on why there is this interest, we show that there is the interest. We want to also say for when is this interest. So what we're observing on this slide, those graphs are presenting the index for hotel searches. So no flight searches, hotel searches here. For all 4 destinations. Above we have Lisboa, we have Porto, and below we have Albufeira and Funchal. In all of those cases, we can see the blue line. I hope you can see that it's blue, this massive one, which is dropping the most. So this is the longest search window of plus 90 days. So this is decreasing for all of the 4 destinations, and it started to decrease around April. In case of Porto, even a month earlier, so around March. And currently what we are seeing is we are getting closer to the summer. So we are getting closer to the summer period. The restrictions got a bit like more relaxed. So there is a visible increase in the midterm searches. So 29 to 90 day, which is indicated with this violet or purple line. So this is 29 to 90 day searches, and as well as 8 to 28 days indicated by the yellow line. And what is interested in destination and more leisure destinations, so the below one as Albufeira and Funchal, we can also see a slight increase of the green line, and the green line is indicating the searches which are being done between 0 and 7 days. So the last minute searches. And this we can of course argue here, but it might be because the signs of domestic interest, or the fact that basically flight has been already booked beforehand and we're looking at the hotels at the moment. So if we already know for when we're searching, we would like to know also like our guests. So who are the traveling, where are the travelings actually coming from? So what is important is once we already know the interest is there, we know for when, that it is short to mid-time lead time, and we want to know exactly where is it coming from and for which days, in order to adjust our marketing and pricing strategies and target the right guest with the right offer at the right time and the right price. Thus, we want to know for Portugal, okay, from where the potential customer is coming from, for how many nights they want to stay in the destination and for which period of time, and when the guests start planning to come into the destination. And with all of this information, we can actually make more targeted marketing, pricing strategies, and promotion in order to attract those customers into our property and be ahead of the competition and convert basically those lookers into actual bookers. So you probably would like to see now where the potential customer are coming from Portugal, for Portugal. So Rudy, if you could just please flip a slide. Okay, so here in this chart, we are seeing 7 top countries searching for hotels in Albufeira, Funchal, Lisboa, and Porto, respectively, for the period of the next 60 days and with the average length of stay. So we can clearly see that the recent change in restrictions, so UK putting basically Portugal at the green light as well as Champions League and all of that factors, it influenced the fact that our top source market for all 4 destinations is currently UK, which is followed by Germany, Spain, and France. And we can assume that once the lockdowns and travel restrictions ease, we can expect more of them visiting Portugal over the summer period. What needs to be underlined here, however, is also quite a big domestic interest in destinations, especially in both leisure ones, so Albufeira and Funchal. And the length of stay, of course, for those destinations is also significantly higher than it is in city destinations.
Okay, Joanna, so thank you very much for this presentation. Very valuable information, by the way, for the hoteliers. So what do you think hoteliers can do differently by knowing this before it happened? I mean, when we have the figures, the stats, what can we do in terms of strategy and how can we do it to be ahead of our competitors?
Sorry, I hope you guys hear me because I still have my internet interrupting a bit. So I believe that in order to be able to forecast more efficiently in current challenging market conditions, and with increased competition, as you mentioned, Rudy, we should pay a lot of attention to our new guests, so to say. So we should keep an eye on our source markets, which countries are searching to come, for how long they are planning to stay, and how can we actually use this information in order to increase our occupancy, the RevPAR revenue, and we basically should make the guest at the center of our commercial offer. Why? Because with the customers, it is the customer who is actually deciding to attend an event, to go to a beach destination, to go to a festival. So ultimately, the customer is the one who is driving the demand, and every booking starts with a search. So we want to spot those opportunities at the very early stage and convert those lookers into actual bookers. And apart from that, since the supply still outgrows the demand significantly, it is vital, I think, to take a bit more dynamic approach to our competitive landscape. So do not take into consideration more properties, into consideration actually more properties than those which we usually compete against. So have a bit bigger, broader market perspective, market picture. Since the situation now is that with business traveling being down, a lot of hoteliers are actually competing against the same leisure customer. And last but not least, should the resources allow, of course, we should try to foster a bit more collaboration between the commercial departments. So for example, revenue, marketing, sales, and e-commerce working together to prepare those strategies, adjusting those strategies to the changed market condition, to this changed guest who is coming to visit Portugal.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanna. It's very nice to see, it's great to see the US market returning to Lisbon and Porto, at least. It's a very important market for those 2 cities. It's very nice to see France, Germany, Switzerland. Maybe this is related to vaccination, to the green zones, to the safety of our country. But it would be great if we could understand if the demand matches the bookings, if the trends matches the bookings that we have. So let me introduce you, Andre. He's from SiteMinder, and let me ask you this, Andre. How is Portugal doing in terms of bookings for the summer? I mean, we have seen the demand, but what about bookings? That's a very important question for us as well.
Yes, of course, Rudy. First of all, let me just thank you for having us and having SiteMinder. I think from what Joanna brought us, it will lead into a really nice segue from the intention to what's actually happening. So even before we jump to what's happening at this point, and I have those figures there, it's important for us to understand what we understood first in the first place as the 5 stages for this hotel bookings that are happening. So as Joanna pointed out, and we will see in the next couple of slides. So the first stage, as we all know, starts with the domestic acceleration. So when people that are actually in country starting to book hotels, to travel, after this situation is also due to the fact that no international travelers are visiting the country. Second stage, still with some restrictions, but we reach a level of plateauing. So this means that bookings then stall. And this happens because in terms of domestic travelers, we don't have enough people to supply all of the hotels that we have in Portugal. And we saw that last year in the early stages of the summer. So hopefully now is when we start to see the changes having impact. So right after the plateauing, we have the fluctuation moment. So this has to do with the fact, this has to do with the fact that people, gain confidence in traveling. If you can just go back, Rudy, to the previous one. Perfect, thank you. But then the booking patterns are kind of erratic. And what we are seeing, and hopefully this is the moment, Rudy, that's the most important part, we are starting to see an embracing phase, which is the moment where everyone starts to gain confidence and we start to see that international acceleration. So this has to do with 2 things. So the restrictions being pulled off or lowered, and the fact that, as Joanna mentioned, the vaccination then starting to kick in, and then you start to see then the international acceleration. This is something we didn't really see last year, or if we saw, it was really mild and not as aggressive as we saw already by the intentions of booking that Joanna showed us. So if we can then jump to the next slide, this is where, Rudy, we start then to see how Portugal is actually doing for the following months. So here we have a representation of all the bookings made against 2019, so not against 2020. And against 2019, what we can see is that from February to end of April, Portugal is following the trend, the global trend, so growing as the whole world is actually growing in terms of reservations being made. And by the time we reach the 1st of April, and due also to the fact, as Joanna covered, the Champions League had a massive impact. The fact that Portugal was one of the first countries in the green zone for the UK tourists. So we started to see from the 1st of May a really big number of reservations being made, something that is not happening to other countries at this particular moment. So this, as we'll see ahead, has a lot of international strengths here. So as you can see, we are not far from what we were in May of 2019, which is before this whole crisis. So now the interesting part is, will all of these reservations be effective? Will all these guests arrive to our country? This is the curious part, but everything starts to seem like, okay, we are walking towards a better path than actually it was last year. So if you can just jump to the next slide. Here we can see the two main cities, so Porto and Lisbon. As we can all remember, and you can still look at the graph on the further left end, the 1st of June of 2020, the big cities really suffered during this pandemic. So in the first stage, there was it was really complicated for hotels in Lisbon, Porto, as people were not booking in these areas. So right now, what we can see is, again, compared to 2019, 65%, almost 66% of bookings being made to Lisbon again, and 73 for Porto. So this shows already, and going back to your question, Rudy, that's the summer is going to be definitely better than the last summer. So if we are starting to see the cities opening, it is already a clear sign that things are opening up and people will start to travel a bit all over the country, as unfortunately it wasn't last year. So moving up to the next slide. One thing that is not changing is the fact that last-minute bookings are maintaining popularity. So this is something that seems that is here to stay, and this has two components. So first of all, if you're traveling in country, you can be, if you're from Lisbon, you can be in Algarve in 2 hours, 3 hours. You can be in Porto in 2 or 3 hours. You can be in any other area super quickly. Therefore, you don't really need to book in advance as you used to do before. And what we are seeing is then in the last 2 weeks, a big amount of revenue as well, if things end up happening, but a big number of reservations then going to the months of June, July, August, September, and some already to October. It would be interesting to see the summer stretching out as we used to have in 2017, 18, 19 to October, almost touching November. Last year, we started to see a big decline from September to October. In terms of the main, I would say Algarve, probably more. The areas like Douro, Alentejo still had good numbers in terms of occupation there. So yeah, last-minute bookings are still a thing, and they will stay for quite some time. So if you can just move then to the next slide. I think there is one in between, Rudy. I think you jumped. Okay, exactly. So this is quite interesting, and it goes along with what Joanna just showed us, the intention of booking and who's actually booking. So you see that from May onwards, there is a change and who's actually booking to stay in Portugal. So in a year that we had loads of domestic travelers, probably the biggest year, the year of 2020, where the domestic travelers actually sustain. It's a big term to say that happened last year, which I don't think domestic travelers sustain hospitality in Portugal, but they were actually a really big help in order to maintain certain properties afloat. So this year, and this is what we are seeing now for Portugal, in the next couple of months, the number of international tourists will definitely increase. Again, there's also that point where domestic travelers book in the last couple of days, but months like July, August, and September, that were mainly months of international tourists, this is where things might start to change. And with the big cities then opening, we might see a more spread out coverage of guests in country rather than just in a couple of areas as we saw last year. So just comparing this against what we saw last year, Rudy, if you move then to the next slide. What I brought was just an overview for our attendees then to have an idea of how it was last year and how things are changing. So if we look again at June, July, August, only in September we had that number of 50% of international tourists being higher than actually the domestic, and even in the next couple of months things started to change. So this told us last year that we didn't have loads of tourists. So hopefully this is the year where we start to see then this number of tourisms coming in changing. And I think we saw that already with the first influx of tourists coming from the UK. And that's pretty much it. That sums it up for our side.
Okay, Andre, thank you very much. In a revenue manager perspective, if I can predict the demand, and if I can predict the trends for the summer, I can easily increase my profit, my business. I mean, in terms of distribution, and this is a question for Rui from Mirai, is the country manager. So Rui, what kind of information can I have from metasearch? I mean, I know the patterns, I know the forecast, I know the demand. What can I do to increase my profits when doing the distribution? Because as we know, we pay huge commissions to several partners, and if I know that the demand is coming from US, from France, from Belgium, from Germany, what can I exactly do to match this demand to my hotel? Can you explain us?
Okay, Rudy, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. And of course to Andrea and to Joanna. Mirai has been a leader in the Spanish market for many years, and of course the natural jump will be to the neighbor country. So Mirai is in Portugal since the end of 2019. I've joined Mirai. In my previous function, I was Director of Sales for Pestana for Portugal and Africa. And this has been a fantastic journey during the last 2 years. Well, challenging because of the pandemic, but also great in terms of development and to show to the Portuguese hoteliers some tools to enhance their first of all their distribution, their visibility, to change a little bit of strategy, and of course to have higher profits even on this strange environment that we have since March 2020. Okay, the world of metasearch is one of these tools. During the last year, we have seen that the digital world came a little bit on top of the table, and I think on this, and I believe that all the hoteliers and even the trade in Portugal has to say that the tourism of Portugal has done a great job in terms of training, and what used to be a very complex environment these days it's less complex, and I think most of the hoteliers are taking out advantage from mostly the OTAs, as you were saying, the channels. Mirai Digital helps on this. Okay, we are based on 3 pillars: technology, of course, visibility, and strategy. Visibility in terms of the normal AdWords, in terms of Google Ads and Bing Ads. Also in terms of the display network from Google, so creating audiences, prospecting, remarketing, going a little bit into social media, and of course what we are talking about today, that is the metasearch environment. Okay, and on this metasearch environment, where we have seen some changes during the last couple of years, and has been great to see how things are evolving at the time. Okay, and this is the normal paradigm of the market. The hotel is looking for clients, the clients are looking for hotel, and we can open the door. And to drive more traffic to the website and to the booking engine. And this is a little bit of the meta search can do for the hotel. So we can really drive more traffic and have higher conversion, more bookings, and most of all, know a little bit more about our direct customers. Okay. There are 4 main players on this: TripAdvisor, Kayak, Trivago, and Google Hotel Ads. Each one of them has a different character, so they come from a different base, and so they are none better than the other. So they are different, they act in a different way, and we should be able to take advantage from each one of them. Okay. As you were saying, the OTAs take a lot of advantage, Rudy, from these matters, and I believe that hoteliers can take much more advantage than what they are taking at the moment, because the metasearch engines give them the ability, and this ability can be fantastic if the distribution is some way controlled and do not have a lack of disparity. Sorry. Well, going a little bit on the character, well, TripAdvisor, the success is based on feedback from travelers. So they have a traffic of 300 million per month. So if we get a slice of that, it's a lot of people. Trivago is the pure meta search engine, so 45 million people per month. And also Kayak, which initially was for flights. These days we can find already hotels, cars, packages, excursions, well. And the newest or the youngest one in the market, Google Hotel Ads, which has been the most disruptive during the last years, because Google has a 360 vision, so visibility and accessibility. Okay, works with Google Travel, works with Google Maps and Google Search, and this gives the full experience for the hotel search. And Google is fantastic to see the way they have been seeing what are the needs of the traveler and in which way they can act. Okay. So these are internal data from Mirai, and we can see that up to 2016, the best way for visibility was still AdWords. So Google and Bing. 17, we saw already an inversion on this kind of situation. 18 and 19, the same. And then to cut the growth came the pandemic, and of course, due to lower the cost per click model, we have seen that ads, well, they kept in the market to give visibility to the hotels, and this is what we at the time advised all our partners. Well, keep a little bit of spend on ads, and instead of investing in CPC models, let's put it only on a cost per stay model. So, which in this case takes out all the risk, and in this way, Google stayed as the most prominent meta search engine because it has this option, while the others are still very much based on CPC. Okay, 2021 up to now, we have seen that Google keeps growing, and but mostly with the cost per stay, with the commission per stay model. But we believe that the second 6 months of the year will be pretty much different, mostly because, as you mentioned before, we have more people with vaccines. Probably the borders will stay open as they are at the moment, and most will see much more free travel around, and this will give confidence to the hoteliers to go back to a CPC model, which can drive even more volumes than what we are having at the moment. Okay. The good news, a little bit as Joanna was saying, well, the good news started by the middle of March, so we have all been much more positive since that time, and then middle of April and now May has been fantastic. We can see that the number of clicks and for the demand is growing and growing. Andre was totally right. It's last minute. People are still pretty much afraid of booking on a long-term basis. So we can see that May, for instance, in terms of bookings, was pretty much the same that we had on the first 4 months of the year. So this gives us an extra excitement to see the summer and to believe that the summer will be a great summer, much better than it was 2020. And in some cases, we can see already that the figures are going back to what it was in 2019, which it's an extra confidence for the hoteliers. The big winners, well, we can see again Google going up to almost 75%, Kayak less than 1%, and this we have to see the strongest markets where Kayak operates. TripAdvisor 9%, okay, and Trivago still the second meta search engine, okay. In terms of device, well, mobile is still on the 40% that we had in 2019, but we can see that it's coming closer, and the desktop is still higher. But mostly we can see these differences between what it is urban properties and resort properties, where normally for resort properties, and which are the ones that at the moment are being booked the most, we always see that desktop has still a very great position on that. Okay. The demand, well, even with the Champions League, Portugal is still the main driver. So the Portuguese are pretty much booking through meta search engines. Okay, and this is something that has been great to see. And then we have all the other markets that are nearby. So Spain, France, Germany, and UK. having more requests and more clicks, and where you can see that there is a latent demand for the summer. All the other countries, we can see that they started to search now in May. So before that, everything was very, very low. So May has been the best month for this. In terms of Google, and to go a little bit on what they are doing at the moment, and to give a little bit of a hint, and to see that metasearch will not stop and will evolve and will be bigger and bigger. Well, Google has released some tools and resources during the last months. Free booking links was one of them. It gives the ability to the hotels to be present in Google Hotel Ads, but on a free way. Of course, the conversion is not the same as when it is paid, but at least it gives you visibility at this stage, and it in a way that probably in 2 or 3 months the hotels will feel more confident to invest on one of the models from Google. Okay. Also, and released 4 weeks ago, Google Hotel Insights, and this is nice if anyone of the present will want to know much more about their own hotel. They can go in, it's completely free of charge, and they can search for what is the demand for their region and for their property in particular. Okay, and this will give you some insights and will give you some ideas in a way to act, and sometimes seeing that price together with visibility and of course strategy behind will make the difference on this with these tools. Okay, so this is a lot of work to be done. So mostly we have to take care about our prices and the way they are being displayed in the market. We have to see if any of the partners is having any lack of disparity with us. Also have our profile from Google Business, have it always updated. It's here where Google Hotel Ads goes in to search for more content, and it's very much important. This is probably the most important, and sometimes we still see hotels that have not their profile updated, and of course then we have wrong information or lack of information being displayed. Okay, it doesn't help the sales. So this is the Google environment, and I think we can take more and more advantage of it. And it's cheaper than the normal OTAs or the normal commissions, and of course we should go into.
Okay, thank you very much, Rui. This is a game changer, I think so. The metasearch, 5 years ago, we were all thinking about the OTAs and commissions and rankings, etc. But this is really important because, for example, our clients, they have like between 30 to 50% of their business coming from their website. And this is most of it due to the metasearch business. It really is important. I think Google will grow much more in the future, let's say 2 to 3 years. And thank you for that information, Rui. So we are on time, like a Switch watch. So let's see if we have some questions from the audience. I don't know if we have questions. Let me check here. If you want to make your questions, we have like some time. We have like 15 minutes to 20 minutes if you want to write some questions for us. Okay, we have the first question. What channels are working better in the Portuguese market? I don't know who wants to answer this one. What channels are working better in Portugal?
I can say a couple of things about this, Woody. So an interesting situation is there is no the chicken that lays the golden eggs, right? There is no situation like this. This is a question that we've had throughout the year, and the channels remain the same. It's just a matter of really having a good online distribution and not necessarily one or two channels that will change everything for hoteliers as people keep going through the normal channels that they go to and recover the good example of the channels that people actually go to. Without surprise, Booking.com keeps being the #1 channel. What we saw from April to December of 2020 was that direct booking, and this is all data from our customers, definitely increased, and it was the second best channel during that particular period. So this is definitely something, and it goes in line with what I think Joanna showed as well. So having a good website, good booking engine, and know how to work that information, it's definitely important as people go to the websites to actually booking. It's also something that changed from the past. People pay way more attention now to the information that hoteliers give to their possible guests on their website, and having a booking engine that works. Then we have the normal channels: Expedia, Hotel Beds, Jet2Holidays. The list goes on. Recently, we released a study of the top 12 performing channels. So I would invite everyone to go to our website and then look for this study. You have all of the information there in regards to the top performing channels in 2020, and also in the segment of April to December. So yeah, not sure if Rui or Joanna would like to add something, or even yourself, Rui.
Now, in our case, well, we get information from our partners, of course, the booking engine, and I think that these digital changes gave us a big boost in what is the direct business sales. And of course, we learn from our partners that some of them partners are now declining, and mostly some of them B2Bs, the OTAs keep going in, the website keeps growing. And in our case, well, what we can see is that, and this is again information from our partners, is that they say to us, well, you guys are overpassing Booking already, and this is fantastic. This is fantastic for us. Okay, this is fantastic.
Well, thank you, Rui and Andre. We have several questions coming in. So from José Carapito to all of you, which channels are declining, and will the tour operator model recover, or will it keep failing or falling? So which channels are declining, and what will happen with the tour operator model? Declining or not? What do you think?
So I can add on this the fact that declining, I'd say it's a strong word. Things changed, and for a particular point in our history, which was this crisis, things changed for the worst, right? So we've had some types of models or business models having negative impacts. What can be bad for some will be good for some others, as this particular situation that we're just discussing of hotel websites and booking engines gaining a lot of traction. A lot of other channels went down on the list, but I think all types of, and then correct me or give me your opinion if you're wrong, but I would say all types of business are valid, and you see a lot of tour operation going to online now. So I wouldn't say it's a declining model or something like that. I would say the performance can go up or down according to the moment that we are living, but I believe then people that usually go to this type of operators end up going again. They might not go to the A1, might go to the B1 or to the C1, but I believe it's still something that will be a recurring theme, to be honest.
Okay, thank you, Andre. Joanna, do you want
sorry.
to...
No. Yeah, just wanted to briefly add, but not sure if my internet is stable. I just wanted to say that I totally agree with Andre regarding having like varied distribution. So the fact that tour operator model now maybe it's a bit less than OTAs, it's also because of the current market conditions, right? Because via tour operators we very often book something organized, or we book groups, etc., which are not so like active at the moment, because this sector is like very down comparing to this leisure international traveler, which is, just as we spoke through all the presentation, it's just recovering pretty much from May. So I think we just need to give the tour operators and all other guys a bit of more time and a bit more chance to also recover those bookings, because obviously for OTAs it's just easier because everything is mobile and online.
Yeah, and I think the tour operator model, they will be very important in terms of group business as well. So I mean, for example, the US market, they are just starting to book again for this summer, which is amazing. At least in Porto, in some of our clients, we were not expecting to have the US clients in group business to have them this summer, but suddenly they started to book for the month of August, which is very important. And this is tour operation. In terms of FIT, I don't know. I think we will need to work with both, of course. Maybe I don't need to work with 100 tour operators, but maybe I can work with 5 or 10. I don't know. We just need to adapt to each hotel that we are managing. So, Rui, I have a question for you from Luis. From Luis, do you want to add something?
No, just saying that in the US we saw the opposite. We saw the public going back to travel agencies. Okay, there is a huge increase in terms of travel agencies on the US. And of course, this can also be because the Americans love to have their travel insured. I believe that, well, to José Carapito, I believe that tour operators have a very heavy structure. It's difficult to turn around. So they are at the moment adapting as well. And I think we should make a difference between what are tour operators with charter flights and what is the normal tour operator that takes seats, because this changes the game. Okay. The charter flights, I think will be a little bit more difficult for them. The others that had the tour operator and their traditional way of distributing, I think they will adapt easier to the new world. But again, the customer, as Andre was saying, who books in travel agencies and tour operators will keep booking. Okay, mostly because I don't see I see the digital market developing in places like Germany, but I don't see it taking over what is the normal tour operator business at the moment. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Rui. I have a question for you from Luis Domingos. Hi, Rui. To what I understand, there are several levels of commission to work with Google Hotel Ads. What model of commission do you recommend?
Well, at the moment, still the commission per stay. Okay, I think is the safest. Is the safest, at least for 1 or 2 months more, or at least until we feel more confident. I believe that after July or August, I think we should start making some experiences with either the CPC or the commission per conversion. Okay, first commission per conversion, which is lower than the commission per stay, and then after that, if we feel confident and if there are no closes of borders or nothing, I think we should go into the CPC model.
All right, so we have some questions on the chat. We are answer all the questions. Just another one to finish, and this is a good one. What will guests book non-refundable rates for this summer? What do you think? Well, I can answer this one. I think not. I was one of the. I advised people not to have non-refundable rates last summer because people were not looking for discounts, but safety instead of discounts, and it makes sense. 1 month ago, we opened non-refundable rates for some of our clients, and we had a surprise. We had so many bookings in the non-refundable rate because people, I think, yes, they are looking for safety, but also for discounts. Because come on, if you see the rates in some regions in Portugal for the summer, it's crazy. I was looking for my holidays in August in a particular region, and it was like 4,000 for a week for 2 persons in a room. Okay, so yes, I think people will look for non-refundable rates, and we have to keep the window open. We need to work both segments. I mean, the bar segment and the non-refundable segment. We will always have people for both. This is my opinion. I don't know if someone wants to add something.
I think you're absolutely
no,
right.
really,
I think. Sorry, Joanna.
okay.
Joanna?
No, go ahead. I go after.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
a quick note to that. I think in last year, especially on the summer, the persona that was booking was really narrow to one point, was safety. It's like Rudy is saying, it's safety. At this point, we have again people that are looking for the better price, promotion. So in terms of rate structure, again, I think, like Rudy said, non-refundable promotions, everything is valid at this particular point. Give people the option.
Okay, so no more questions at the moment. I think we are on time.
Sorry, Rudy, just confirm, because Joanna was about to add something, and then I think
sorry.
I cut Joanna right in the middle. Joanna.
Okay. We are not listening.
It's not the. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No.
Camera, maybe it's better. Is it better now?
Now, yeah, totally.
No,
No, it's not.
I'm really.
No, Joanna, it's not working.
No.
No, your internet is not working.
Okay, skip me. Just skip
Yeah.
me. Sorry.
Okay, just thank you very much to all of you. Andrea, Rui, Joanna, thank you very much for being here, and to all the audience as well. Any further questions? I think you will have our contacts. We can write them in our chat in a few moments. So please, if you want to write down your email address, Joanna, Rui, Andrea, please go ahead.
Rudy, let me just thank you. First of all, thank you, Rui, and thank you, Joanna, for being here with us, and remind everyone that is with us that all of the information that I brought is also on our website. It's free, so everyone can actually have access to it, and the same sentiment and the same panorama that I just shown, it's free for everyone then to have a look at our website.
Okay, so I believe all of you have written your email address, Joanna, Andre. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, so thank you very much once again.